I'm like, no, betrayal is the sin. You chose to let me down. My range on 10, nights without me. You chose to leave, nights without me, girl. Just cannot be.
Alright, let's get started back with another one. Now we're talking about Wicked. Wicked, starring Ariana Grande, Cynthia Erivo, Jonathan Bailey, Peter Dinklage. I really like Peter Dinklage. That's my man's. And as well as a whole bunch of other people. Directed, obviously, by John M. Chu, who also directed such things as, and I was just looking at this, he directed Crazy Rich Asians. A lot of people like that. I actually did myself. Step Up 3. G.I. Joe. Retaliation. He directed that? No, he didn't. Did he? Hold on. Hold on. Oh shit, he showed it. Oh wait, that was right. Because who directed the first one? I just seen his movie. Stephen Sommers. He directed Van Helsing, a guilty pleasure. Everyone's favorite guilty pleasure. Stephen Sommers. Yeah, he directed the first G.I. Joe. I was thinking of him. Anywho, Wicked. I just saw Wicked, literally, a few hours ago. Wicked.
Wicked. Hold up. Wicked.
I'm sorry. But, yeah, Wicked, how can I say this without offending people? Oh, yeah, Jeff Goldblum, or Goldblum, was also in it too. He played the wizard. How can I say this without offending people? Nah, I mean, there's no way I can defend nobody. I mean, look, this movie. All right, so basically, it was about. It's a Wizard of Oz prequel. All right, it's a Wizard of Oz prequel. Something like the Oz, Great and Powerful. And yeah, it takes place literally, the movie starts off with the death of the witch. She just got burnt alive or melted. And the people are celebrating, yeah, the witch is dead, blah, blah, blah. Then the other magical lady, who's played by Ariana Grande, she comes with the bubble, and and somebody from the citizens was like, wasn't the witch your friend at one point? How the hell she would know that? Who knows? And yeah, Ariana Grande pretty much explains the story of how the witch and her used to be friends way back in school, college, I think it is. And yeah, that's pretty much what the whole film's about. And let's travel. Let's slowly go into how I felt about this movie. So they had this thing, the sort of the main conflict, the main plot of the story is really about Elphaba Alphabet. I'm just gonna call it Alphabet. They were jokingly calling her that in the film. That was the original name of the witch. And one thing I really enjoyed and what this film kind of focused on was the fact that the witch was born just, with discolorment. She was born green, and everyone made fun of her. Everyone around town, her father didn't want her. You know what I'm saying? And technically, it wasn't even her father. Her mother had slept with another man and ended up having her or whatever. And so, she grows like that. And when she goes to this boarding school, that's where she meets Glinda, played by Ariana Grande. And they first are enemies. Glinda is like, their enemies, whatever, because Glinda's all bougie and she acts like, she acts very like she's just the life of the party. She does this funny thing throughout the film where she keeps on flipping her hair back and forth and shit. Because she just thinks she's the shit. So that's one of the reasons why they bump heads. And as well, they have this whole subplot to where there's a lot of talking animals in the city of Emerald City. And the city is, some people have this whole thing where they feel like the animals should be controlled. They shouldn't talk. They should be animals. And so Alphabet has, some sort of sympathy for that. And she kind of is, sort of like supporting the animals on, gaining their rights as people, so to speak. So that's in there. And then obviously, they have like this, I guess you almost could call it like a scholarship. A student could be picked and visit the Wizard of Oz, and have a wish, so to speak, on anything they want. And so Glinda or Alphabet gets the opportunity. Eventually, Glinda and Alphabet become friends. I'm tell you why in a second. And yeah, and pretty much she gets a chance to see the wizard. Kind of sounds interesting, does it? The idea of it sounds good. The execution, not good. Not good at all. This movie was 2 hours and 40 minutes. And you felt every hour. And you felt every minute. This movie was not paced well. This movie was not written well. Characters were boring. The plot was boring. Musicals are tricky. Musicals are very tricky because you find yourself wanting to have big set pieces, big dance, choreograph, parts in the film. For this story being at the Wizard of Oz, great grand visuals of CGI and all that. And I feel like some filmmakers and producers could really get caught up in making stuff like that and forget about the story. I'm pretty sure 9 times out of 10, they really base this completely off of the play, which is another obstacle that you have to go through, because now you're trying to take what works in a play and translate it to a film. Plays are very different from film. They're acted different. They are directed different. The set pieces are different. The beats, the acts, everything is different in a play than it is in film. You the way you treat a story in a play has to be done completely differently. And some things that work in a play, even one scene, if you try to do it that way in a movie, it's not going to work. The same vice versa. It's what you do in the film and you try to do that in the play, it's not going to work. You got to switch things up. And they didn't. They didn't switch shit up. The movie for 2 hours felt like nothing happened. I've seen movies, Zack Snyder, the Snyderverse was a 4-hour movie. Okay? A lot happened in that movie. A lot of things happened within the plot. It was almost like watching a bunch of episodes all together in one. This movie, it's like I'm watching nothing. Again, the idea I just told you, it sounds interesting, right? They didn't execute it very well. It starts off interesting. Like, it starts off, okay, it gets a big focus on I'm gonna call it Alfie. It gets a big focus on Alfie, the witch, the pre-witch. Big focus on her being born, then dealing with this family, growing up in school, getting made fun of, So, you know, you're getting somewhere. But once we get introduced to Glinda and we get introduced to this boarding school or college, whatever this is, becomes uninteresting. Like the plot is just bland as hell. And it's like nothing is really happening. You don't know what's going on. They try to add in this subplot where like Alfie has like abilities, these like telekinesis type abilities, and she don't know how to control it. Then this one teacher, played by Michelle Yeoh. She was in everything, everywhere, all at once. She's trying to teach her how to use her powers. That kind of gets thrown away. Like I said, you got the subplot with the animals and what's going on with the animals, but they didn't really do enough with it. Like towards the end, Alfie and Glinda, they meet the wizard, and it was something where the wizard had this book where you could read it. It's like spells, but the wizard couldn't read it, but Alfie could, and she read it, trying to get the animals to talk, but it made them more animalistic, and she got mad at that and decided to leave the wizard. And the wizard and the teacher ended up making an announcement to the whole city, telling the city that the witch is evil, and everyone believed her because of Alfie's skin color. And they break out to a whole big musical bash. Visually, it did look cold. And Cynthia definitely killed it. I'm gonna get to the singing in a second. But it was just like, oh, okay. And then, disrespectfully, it just ends with it to be continued. So, what the fuck was I watching for 2 hours? You know, it's like y'all spent all this time on bullshit. There was literally a scene where in the movie where they have like this school dance, and Glinda, during the time where they were like enemies and shit, she had persuaded Alfie to wear this witch outfit, pretty much the outfit she wears in the Wizard of Oz. She persuaded her to wear that to the dance, and Glinda, you know, ends up going to dance and gets with this guy that she really likes, and then the teacher comes up to Glinda. The teacher low-key don't like Glinda, but whatever. She goes up to Glinda and is like, "Oh, your friend did something for you," and Glinda's like, "Oh wow, really?" You know, and then she feels bad because like, "Oh, I was trying to bully her, but really, she's like actually really nice." And for some fucking reason, Alfie gets into the dance. Everyone's looking at her because of how she looks. They all pause. The music stops. Everything stops. And they all pause. Look at Alfie coming to the dance floor. Then she starts doing this almost praise dance like movement. Everyone's like low-key laughing. And Glinda gets a change of heart, starts dancing with her. And then, because Glinda's so popular, everyone sort of just follows her lead and starts doing the dance with her. But it wasn't done in an interesting way. It wasn't like I said, it wasn't a cool dance. The music didn't break out. It was silent. They just started singing softly to each other, and then the scene was over. Like the choices in this movie was extremely uninteresting. And it led to nothing. Like, and if it did lead to something, it was something that wasn't even compelling enough to really care about. And it's like, again, the story, the ideas in it was good. Like, for instance, the animal plot. Like I said, there's teachers that are animals. Like, one teacher in particular, played by Peter Dinklage, is a goat, a talking goat. And, you know, someone wrote on the board, you know, to, you know, the lack of his knowledge, animals should, it was something degrading, like animals should walk and not talk or some bullshit. And Peter Dinklage got upset and shit. Give me more of that. Like, give me more of even with the wizard being behind, because in the end of the movie he's like, well, you know, people need to do all in order for people to come together. He was saying they need to have an enemy. Okay, explore that more. Like, explore that within this film. We don't need, you know, because I know people gonna be saying, oh well, we're gonna just get that in the sequel. No, we should have got it in here right now. This was a 2-hour and 40-minute movie. Ain't shit happened. Nothing happened in this movie. Nothing. The singing in this movie, the singing, the pure singing was great. Cynthia could sing her ass off. We already know what Ariana Grande could do. The dude, Jonathan Bailey, though his character was extremely bland, and I didn't give a fuck about his character at all. Dry like eggs when you leave it on the stove for too long. His character was very uninteresting. But his singing was decent. And as part of singing, they had pretty cool choreography. I actually liked it. The choreography in this movie was good. But the songs, period, were very lackluster. Like I said, the only good song, in my opinion, was the last one. That was when the witch was flying around doing a whole little spectacle and shit. Like, all the songs weren't really that good. Like, I'm not finna... And I'm into music. You all know, I got some of my music on this channel. I'm into music. I actually like musicals. They're not particularly my go-to movies, but when done right, and it's hard to do them right, as I said before, they could be great, but they didn't have no good songs in here. The songs were kind of boring, and they kind of had a thing where they would try to like sing, like the dialogue would be singing. You know what I mean? They had that a little bit in there. That didn't really work well. It just didn't work. Like a lot of pacing issues. A lot of scenes could have been taken out. A lot of scenes could have been taken. A lot of scenes that were just boring, had nothing to do with nothing. They could have been taken out, and a lot of scenes could have been shortened. Like, I felt like we spent literally, I felt like an hour of Ariana Grande and Cynthia's characters just getting along, talking, you know, spending time changing Cynthia's the way she dressed and looked, which didn't go anywhere. She ended up dressing all black again anyway. You know, Glinda versus Alfie thing. It wasn't much of it, and they didn't really do nothing with it. Like, it was like they cracked a few jokes on each other, you know, then they had a whole little singing thing where they sang about them not liking each other. But even within that, they didn't really show, like, they didn't do much with that. Ariana Grande was in the film, and though her character at some points was entertaining, it was kind of funny. Like I said, she was doing a whole hair flipping thing. But take her out of the film, no difference. No difference. Her character was there only to serve the witch character. She literally had no plot, no backstory, ain't no shit about her, other than she used to be a bitch, and then she's not anymore. That's all. It was pointless. It was pointless. This was a pointless movie. And again, I'm not sure. You know what? Let me go ahead and look it up, because I want to know that for sure. I want to know, was this movie strictly based off the, you know, was it completely based off the play, or did they you know, adapt it a little bit? Let's go. Was the Wicked movie completely based off the play? Hopefully I get a straight answer. It is the first of a two-part film adaptation of the stage musical of the same name by Steve Schwartz and Halsman, which in turn was loosely based on the 1995 novel. Yeah. Yes. I say it again. Some things that are done in the play, it's not gonna work well in the movie. Plays are live. Plays are very theatrical. They're in your face. So a lot of things that may seem boring in a movie won't seem boring in a play, but they will seem boring in a movie. This movie was boring. I was on my phone the whole time, but I was still paying attention. But the fact that I had to fight to pay attention, he lets you know. You know, they have this thing where they have this dude that Glenda likes, this dry ass man that comes into school. He was dry. Character was boring. And you know, he gets in there and Glenda gets with him. But then towards the end, it's kind of like sort of hint upon that she, you know, that he kind of likes Alfie too. It was a little bit hinted upon towards the end of the film. Had a nice little funny scene. You know, before she went to the wizard, he gives Alfie a flower, but he neglects to give one to Glenda, his actual fucking girlfriend. Or the girl he's singing, whatever. But that's it. I guess they're gonna save it for the sequel. Why didn't we get that here? That could have been another thing within the story that they didn't focus on at all. They spent $140 million on this movie. At the very least, they need to make $290 million. I bet my left nut they're not gonna make $290 million. They're probably gonna be barely able to make 200. It's not gonna be a sequel. And if it is, we all know why. You know why. So yeah. Not worth your time. Not worth your money. Go home. Or go out watch Red One like I should have. Like I should have tonight. I think I'm just more upset of how the audacity of how long this movie was. Ain't shit happen. Like I said, good idea, but go all the way with it. Don't half-ass just because you're trying to focus more on the theatricals and the musical and the set pieces and shit.
Hey man, do you have trouble getting an erection?
Can't what? Can't even get an erection.
What's an erection?
All those nights of masturbating all alone has ruined your love life. Party drugs are too much of a risk because they just might kill your ass. You're tired of Viagra having all these health concerns. Go ahead and try the best aphrodisiac out there in Tab's chocolate. Look man, it's simple, easy to use. All you gotta do is wait 30 minutes after you're done taking it, and you can end up getting your freak on all night long. Ladies, it will definitely have your man as hard as a rock. And best believe, gentlemen, once your woman takes this, she'll definitely have you riding waves. And don't worry, they got full description of the ingredients for all you scaredy cats out there on the website. Tap the link in my description so you can get 20% off your first order, as well as a 3-box deal for 17% off. Remember, don't screw her, love.
Don't forget about the story. Hit that like. Hit that subscribe button. And if you already did all that, then spread the word. Because I'm out here. And I'm making moves. Because you ain't got to ask about it. And you ain't got to have the answer to it. Because you already know what it is. Thank you.